So, you want to become a millionaire. Everyone tells you to invest in yourself, but let's be real, almost no one actually has the time to do it. Lucky for you, in this video, I'm distilling years of trial and error into a core blueprint that actually makes you wealthy. No fluff, no motivational nonsense, just pure actionable strategy. And no, I'm not just saying that. Focus on what you can control, just like an engineer solves problems, instead of whining about limited resources. The only things truly under your control are your actions and decisions. Just like a rocket's trajectory depends entirely on your calculations and execution. Miss the math and you crash. Get it right and you reach Mars. 1. Focus on what you can control in a world full of uncertainty. We often feel powerless, as if we are being carried along by external forces. But Stoicism reminds us that true power comes from focusing on what we can control. The captain cannot control the wind, but he can adjust the sails to steer the ship toward its destination. We cannot control stock market fluctuations, people's opinions, or even the weather, but we can control our attitude, actions, and reactions. When you shift your energy toward what you can influence, anxiety fades, replaced by an inner calm. Like a gardener tending to his plants rather than complaining about the weather, true happiness comes from accepting what cannot be changed and focusing on what can. Remember, the outside world is like ocean waves, constantly rising and falling, but your inner world can be as calm as the deep sea. When you master focusing on what you can control, you will discover that inner strength is like a seed, gradually growing into something powerful. True freedom comes from internal mastery, not external conditions. 2. Accept the present moment way. Often feel dissatisfied with the present, thinking, if only I had more, or if only things were better. But Stoicism teaches that true happiness comes from accepting the present moment. A river flows along its bed, adapting to its shape instead of fighting against it. The sky clear and undisturbed. Every moment of acceptance is an opportunity for growth, bringing you closer to inner harmony. Remember, every moment in the present is the foundation of your life. Cherish it rather than running from it. When you learn to embrace the present, your inner strength shines like sunlight breaking through the clouds, illuminating everything. 3. Align your actions with your values. When your actions align with your values, you experience inner harmony, like a beautifully composed melody. Stoicism emphasizes that real peace comes from internal alignment, not external validation. Like a compass that always points north, your values should guide your actions steady and clear. Every act of honesty, courage, and kindness nourishes your soul, just as sunlight nourishes the earth. When you live in accordance with your values, inner peace is like the ocean floor unaffected by surface waves. Remember, true power comes from internal alignment, not external approval. When you learn to live by your values, your inner strength becomes like a lighthouse, guiding you through life's storms. 4. Protect your inner peace unless you allow it. External events cannot disturb your inner peace, just as the wind cannot move a mountain. Your mind is a fortress, and only you can open its gates. When you learn to guard your spirit, external noise becomes like distant thunder heard but unable to touch you. Emotions are like waves. You can choose to stand on the shore and observe rather than being swept away. When you master your reactions, your inner calm becomes like the ocean depths unaffected by the turbulence above. Remember, your mind is your last sanctuary. Protect it instead of letting the outside world invade it. When you safeguard your inner peace, your strength becomes like a fortress unshakable. 5. The power of self-reflection instead of blaming others. Examine your own actions and reactions, like a gardener checking his tools instead of cursing the soil. Blaming others is like handing over the steering wheel of your life, surrendering control. True growth comes from self-reflection. Like a mirror revealing your true self, every mistake is a learning opportunity. Fall, stand, and grow stronger. When you focus on your own actions, your inner strength grows like a seed, gradually sprouting and flourishing. Remember, changing yourself is easier and far more powerful than trying to change others. When you practice self-reflection, your inner strength becomes like sunlight, illuminating your path forward. 6. Reframe external events. Peace of mind comes from understanding that it is not external events that cause suffering, but your interpretation of them, just as a reflection in the mirror is not the actual object. When you change your perspective, suffering becomes like passing clouds, temporary and fleeting. Your mind is a brush that paints your perception of reality. When you learn to see situations differently, inner peace emerges, like sunlight breaking through the clouds. brightening everything. Remember, true freedom lies in mastering your thoughts, not controlling the outside world. When you learn to reframe events, your inner strength becomes like a compass, always pointing you in the right direction. 7. Action over thought. Stoicism emphasizes that real power comes from action, not empty thoughts. Just as an engineer cannot build a rocket through imagination alone, you must take real steps towards your goals. When you turn ideas into action, your inner strength becomes like an engine, propelling you forward. Every action is an opportunity to move closer to your goal. When you embrace action over thought, your inner peace becomes like the ocean depths, unaffected by surface-level chaos. Remember, real progress comes from internal action, not external conditions. When you prioritize action, your inner strength becomes like a rocket, breaking through limits and soaring into the sky. 8. Embrace challenges or opportunities for growth. Just as the harsh environment of Mars fuels our drive for exploration. When you embrace challenges, your inner strength becomes like an engine, pushing you forward. Every obstacle is a lesson that makes you stronger. When you learn to embrace challenges, your inner peace becomes like the ocean depths, untouched by surface waves. Remember, true growth comes from internal challenges, not external comfort. 9. Stay true to your mission. When your actions align with your mission, you feel a deep inner harmony, like Tesla's battery cells working together to power the whole. A mission is like interstellar navigation, guiding you through the unknown universe. Every decision that honors your mission is an investment in your future, like solar panels absorbing sunlight. When you stay true to your mission, your inner peace becomes like the silence of deep space, undisturbed by outside noise. Remember, real peace comes from internal alignment, not external validation. When you commit to your mission, your inner strength becomes like a lighthouse, guiding you through the storm. 10. Master your thoughts. Your thoughts are like an algorithm, shaping how you process information. When you learn to master your thoughts, your inner peace becomes like quantum computing, full of infinite potential. Every perspective is a choice, just as selecting a landing trajectory determines how a spacecraft will enter Mars' atmosphere. Remember, true freedom comes from mastering your thoughts, not controlling the external world. When you take charge of your mind, your inner strength becomes like a rocket engine, propelling you towards greatness. Alright, if you made it this far, congratulations, you now have the blueprint that separates the dreamers from the doers. The strategies I just shared, they're not theories. They're tested, repeatable, and actually work. But here's the thing, knowledge without action is just wasted potential. So don't just nod and move on, implement. Pick one thing from this video and apply it today. Because the difference between people who watch success and those who achieve it, action. If this video gave you even one valuable insight, imagine what's coming next. I'll be breaking down even more high-level strategies to build wealth, master your mindset, and take control of your future. So subscribe now, hit the notification bell, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Because trust me, if you and your circle grow together, your entire life levels up. And remember, you control your trajectory. Make sure you're aiming for something worth reaching. See you in the next video. Let's build something legendary.